Good evening and welcome to Delight in Fright. I am Kat, and to my side is the lovely Luna. Give him a pageant wave, Luna.
Woo! 2 hands this time.
And then below me, we have Nadia Cox, producer. And next to her, underneath Luna, we have Hilda Sheridan Hewlett, which is the writer director of So Glad We Never Met. All right. So excited to get started, ladies. So tell me, I was looking up um, Benton Barantino. I'm like, this person does not exist. Who's the Quentin Tarantino fan? Would that be you, Hilda?
I mean, I wouldn't exactly say like I'm a fan because this was we kind of made a parody out of him. I like his work and he's a source of a lot of inspiration. But I just thought he would be kind of like a good director to use to show the embodiment of the character because the primary like the main character, she's just obsessed with male directors, and he's kind of like the epitome of like what you think about when you think of a male director in Hollywood right now. So that, and everyone can tell. Like, I mean, it was a fun name to play with too. I mean, it rolls off the tongue. So
Absolutely. And can we expect any fun foot fetish comedy in there?
did we end up because me and Nadia wrote it together, and she referenced
a joke
that
in the script. I don't know if it made it to the final, but there are feet shots. There are shots of feet that our editor has to play with.
Nice. You heard it here first. Fans of the feet, there are feet, and So Glad We Never Met. How long is this short gonna be, or are you sure yet?
Ideally, 8 minutes.
Okay.
8 to 10 minutes. The original screenplay that I wrote was 20, and then me and Nadia spent a lot of time in various food establishments, shortening it and kind of like bouncing off each other. And we wanted it to be like fast paced and witty, so we are hoping for it to be like a good length for a short. Yeah.
Do you think you're able to kind of express the themes and ideas that you wanted to in those 8 to 10 minutes?
Definitely, I would say.
Yeah, I would
Awesome.
say so as well.
Yeah.
Is this something maybe we can expect to maybe go out into a longer, additional, perhaps short, or maybe a feature?
I would love that personally.
Yeah, we've spoken about this, how we think that
Yeah.
it would be fun to expand this.
Yeah.
I think
There's so
that's
much
what
material. Yeah, there's just so much we could do with it. I think a feature could definitely easily be made.
Well, without further ado, I'd love to share the trailer with everybody, so we can see exactly what we're gonna get into.
And this is a concept trailer, right, ladies?
Yeah,
Right.
we basically.
I come to this place for magic. I come to the theaters to laugh, to cry, to stare. Because I need that. More than anyone. That thirst-quenching feeling I get when the lights begin to dim and I escape into a place that's only mine. Not just entertained, but somehow reborn every time. Dazzling images on a huge silver screen, sound that I can feel. Somehow, violence feels good in a place like this. My hero feels like he's a part of me, and his stories feel perfect and powerful. Just like mine. I'm Flossie, and I make movies better.
Yes. I
Thank
love
you,
it.
Flossie and ladies, for this
That's our
wonderful.
girl.
Did you finally free Nicole Kidman? Did you set her free? Tom's still looking for her.
Yeah.
Let's just say she didn't make it out.
She's like a weird hybrid of our main character and then Nicole Kidman. That's what we were going for. And yeah, Mandy was great. She was someone that I knew from my university in the acting department. I thought she would be perfect, and she was a perfect mix.
Awesome. So who did you end up casting for the lead role?
This really like amazing actress called Mary. She found the casting call through, it was a Facebook group. It was, I think it was an Orlando actors Facebook group that I posted it on, and
Nice.
she found it, and her tape was killer. It was so great.
Where did this idea come from to create this character and this story?
So I originally came up with the idea. It was I wrote a master's thesis project about toxic masculinity in the film industry and women filmmakers, and I watched a movie directed by Tim Burton, um, talking about Edward, who's this obsessive filmmaker, and he's like known as like the worst filmmakers of all time, and he keeps trying to make these films and he just keeps failing and he won't stop. And then I kind of thought about that in the form of like a woman, what that would be like, and what it would be like if she was, obsessively trying to be successful, but then kind of having this like self-hating persona as well, which kind of it led to her own detriment. So she's obsessed with male directors and hates women filmmakers, but obviously, she's a woman filmmaker. And I just thought that was like something like fun to play on, and it's obviously like the tone is like dark, but I wanted it to have like this satirical, stupid feel to it to also make it enjoyable. And Nadia really helped with that, and I really enjoyed writing it with her and like working on it with her, and yeah.
I enjoyed writing it with you too. It was so fun. When I first read the first draft, I could just like picture it and see it all happening in my head, and I thought like I really want to make this, which is always a good sign. And I'm just going through the writing process was just so fun, collaborative, and we were just giggling all the time because it was just so funny, coming up with like all the jokes and the gags, um, and the kills too.
Love it. And there's some really deep themes in this film as well. I love the interplay of gender and authority. How were you able to work that into the film? And did you have any issues yourself in the real world with gender and authority?
I mean, I feel like just being like a woman in the film industry, even on the, like small scales, you're going to experience it. It doesn't matter the scale. Like, there's going to be a backhanded compliment. There's going to be like a strange look that you're going to experience, and unfortunately, it is like this epidemic in film, and especially in horror. So that's something that I thought, kind of being like reflective of that within the horror genre is also really important, because it is such a male dominated field, and it is a place where women are typically objectified. So yeah, I definitely wanted to kind of shine a light on that within something that I feel like a lot of the time can be like the source of it. So
Absolutely. And as women in general, I love that you touched upon that too, Hilda, about how your character, she doesn't think that she can get where she wants to go. Like she has a hatred of herself as well. As women, I think a lot of us we do it to ourselves sometimes because we have that in the back of our head telling us you can't do this, you can't do this. And then we'll see another girl out there doing it and then we're like, "Wait, what makes her think she can do this? Like I was taught I can't do this, right?" And we're just always having to apologize for ourselves if we're direct, if we tell someone what we want. Oh, that's not feminine. How the hell? You know, right? I mean, when you think about it, no one would be here if they hadn't come out of a woman. So why still are we seen as less than? So obviously that's a culture problem. It's a big problem. Are you seeing in the film industry and both being students of UF, or have you seen any trends, any changes perhaps in women in the film industry, like in general?
I think after the Me Too movement, there has been definitely some progress, but still, I mean, I've experienced it after the Me Too movement, and what I like looked into specifically through my research, because I like to I research the films, and what I noticed with like even with Barbie, there was still a lot of backlash against it, even though it was such a success. I know I feel like it's still so noticeable that yeah, there is this really negative trend of toxic masculinity either way. I mean, even yeah, with 3 steps forward, there's still going to be, you know, 2 steps back, and yeah. And what you were talking about also with internalized misogyny, I think that is definitely something that's very prevalent in the film industry, specifically because, you know, it is primarily like dominated by men, and it's kind of hard to pinpoint a lot of women auteurs that are greatly celebrated, like people like Tarantino.
Absolutely.
I did notice as well that it's the same way in the video game industry. I worked at GameStop, and I'm very well versed in the video game world. I mean, I've been playing video games since I could walk practically. You know, my brother playing on the original Nintendo Duck Hunt, and me being able to, you know, try to keep up with him. So it was very hurtful when I had customers come in and ask me something. I'd give them the answer that I knew was correct. They would go, "Oh." And then they would ask my male counterpart the same exact question right in front of me as I just told him. And then they would say the exact same thing, but they would get believed. So I feel that there are parallels from the gaming industry to cinema, as it is also a male dominated world. How do you ladies feel we can turn that around to where there is equal opportunity for in both areas to say, "Oh, I trust you as a director, or I trust you as a video game person, although your gender is different than what's the large populace, but I trust you." Like, how do you think we can steer towards that, and as a society get there to where we're fair?
Yeah. As a producer, I would say for me, it's all within the team that you build and like the community that you shape around. Like there's always going to be like sexists and misogynists in the world, but for me, like building a team to make a movie, knowing who I know, knowing who is the most collaborative, who's the people that I can trust and the people that trust me, that's more likely to be the people that I want to work with and the people that I call back to work with. I've had experiences in the past with people who are just like not listening to me or to another like woman on set. And to me, like if you like do the thing that you had mentioned, like at GameStop, like go to a man to get the exact same answer that you get from a woman. If I see that happening, like in my mind, like you're never getting a call back ever again. I'm never gonna reach out to you for work ever again. And for me, like it may be harsh, but like this is a harsh world. And for me, as a producer, that's how I see us building, a future where we have more women in the playing field. And it just comes from being a gatekeeper, honestly.
Absolutely. Absolutely, Nadia. And that's how we have to be. They're not going to hesitate to blacklist a female. No. So why should we
Exactly.
hesitate?
Exactly.
And how about you, Hilda? And then I'll save mine for last, my rant.
I just something I think that's really interesting when it comes to, let's say, like being taken seriously as a director, especially if you're making something that's feminist or talking about issues pertaining to women. I feel like a lot of the time, films that women make are deemed as personal because we are talking about, you know, issues that affect women broadly, even if they aren't, you know, necessarily stories about us. A lot of the time they're kind of taken as oh, this is just something that she's upset about personally, and it's, not to be taken seriously simply because it's talking about issues that are pertaining to women. So I don't know, that's just something that I think about in relation to this a lot. And when it comes to being taken seriously as a woman in the film industry and just industries in general, I feel like if you are talking about, something that's important to feminism as a cause, a lot of the time it's, simply belittled due to the fact that, like, you are a woman talking about it. And would it be different if it was a man that's, if a man creates a feminist film, then he's a visionary. He's so going against the curve, and he should be celebrated. So yeah, that's just, I thought, an interesting.
Absolutely. Absolutely, Hilda. And it's films like this that is going to change things. I believe we have to be united as women. We have to come together. We have to build each other up, not tearing each other down. Any community I've studied that has been prosecuted, that has been had horrible things happen to them, how they survive this type of abuse, they come together, they unite, they know who they can trust. They work within their small knit community, and they slowly build that community out, which is what you ladies are doing, and it's phenomenal. And we are so happy that you're doing that, and we're happy to help in any way that we can. It's more about getting the word out there, and getting women to stand up and say how they really feel. I know now that the Cheeto man has taken us over again. We have to deal with the same bullshit that we dealt with before. But I believe this country sways one way, like, oh, we were too woke. How can you be too woke? How can you be too not racist? Like, I don't get that. But okay, we were too woke. Now, hopefully, we're going to sway a different way. We are not proactive, we are reactive as a country. So I'm hoping at some point the tables will sway, and we will say, okay, maybe it's not a great thing to be Nazi assholes, and treat the rest of the world like garbage, because, you get back what you put out there into this world. So fingers crossed, that's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah, I mean, my fingers are crossed with you.
Aw, I think we all share that
Yeah.
sentiment.
Yeah.
How do you ladies feel about being a women in the horror space? I know there's been a trend for new and upcoming actresses, artists, directors that are female to be in this space. But how do you feel? Have you felt welcomed? Have you felt resistance being in this space? How would you describe your time in the horror community?
Do you want to go?
Sure. I would say mostly welcome has been how I felt. Before we went into production with the short film, Hilda and I went to a horror filmmaker meetup in Newport Richey, where we met a lot of like the Tampa film scene horror filmmakers. And the crowd was mostly male and mostly older than us, but yet they really like welcomed us with open arms. And once they heard that we were making a film, they really wanted to help us. So personally, I felt like very welcomed by them. And there were also a couple of like a young woman there as well who encouraged us, and we encouraged them. So the vibe that I felt has just been mostly encouraging. The only, weirdly enough, the negatively encouraging people have been men around our age, and even like one or two women around our age. But I mean, we can always chalk that up to differences of opinion, honestly. But for me, it's been mostly very encouraging and welcoming.
Or you can knock it up to intelligence. That's what it seems to
I
fall a
wasn't
lot
gonna
under.
say it.
We are not all created equal. That's
That's right.
as male, female, as any race, sex, whatever. We're not all the
Mhm.
same. So
Yeah. And maybe maybe your film or your work wasn't suited for their taste, and hey, more for us to enjoy.
Yes, yes.
Real, real.
But as long as it gets people talking, what I love is if you make a film, people check it out whether they like it or not. They still checked it out, they still gave it the traction. And not everyone's gonna like the same thing. Can you imagine what a boring world it would be if we all liked the same movie, if we all
Oh my
thought the same
gosh.
opinion? Our art would be so boring and bland. Like, we wouldn't have such a diverse in art and film. So I'm thankful for your movie. And I would say don't be discouraged if somebody doesn't like it, because
And
at least they watched it.
exactly. And
Mhm.
even bad PR is still PR. Like I'm going to write my book eventually, and I'm going to like send it to all the crazy church folks so they could be in an uproar and protest my book. Then other people like-minded like me and us will be like, "Oh, I got to check that out. Thank you for the free advertising."
No,
Oh
I
yeah.
definitely feel that. I mean, I think me and Nadia wanted this film to create a conversation and for people to kind of have different opinions about it. Like, it is definitely, I mean, comparison to my last film, it's definitely pretty out there. My last film was like a coming of age. It was very sweet. And, you know, there wasn't really much extremity to it. But this film is, you know, it has like some quite grotesque elements. It's definitely, it's very campy. It's very lively. It's also, you know, yeah, it's deals with some more difficult themes, while, you know, I would say still being quite comedic. So I think, you know, it plays with a lot of stuff, and then obviously the horror at the end. And I think because of the extremity of it, like I know that people are going to have different reactions. But I think that's also part of the excitement. I was definitely worried about the last, the horror scenes, or the more trying scenes, looking realistic and looking, you know, not too, uh, yeah, like I wanted there to be a good balance between, like, you know, it being silly and then it also, you know, somewhat being scary. And that's, yeah, that was, I would say that was my main concern with coming into the horror genre. But yeah, like Nadia said, when we went to the horror meetup, it was mainly positive. And then one of the people that we met there, he ended up being acting in our film, so that was fun. It worked
Yay.
out well.
Awesome. And I did see that your aesthetics for the film was Wes Anderson, Dario Argento, and Sofia Coppola. Were you able to kind of get the aesthetic that you wanted, um, and with the funding that you had?
I think we got pretty damn close. I would
Nice.
say. I mean, it's we haven't edited it yet, so we can't. You know, I can't say for sure. But from what I've seen on the monitor, I think it looked. I think it looked really great. And then I transformed my room into what I wanted her room to look like. It's still kind of like I'm still partly sleeping in Flossie's room. It's still like not fully changed back. And then Nadia rented a trailer for the Barantino, and that looked really cool.
That
Um,
did look cool with the we got the lights in there and some like fake fog kicking.
yeah,
It looked spooky.
yeah.
Nice.
And we had a lot of Cheetos everywhere. That was one of our main motifs, and that was a
Nice.
lot of fun to play with. And
And was that food for the crew for later, so they don't starve?
some of it.
Nice.
Because it was a film
Yeah.
within a film, we got to use the crafty table for the crew and then for the set. So
Nice.
yeah,
We had to hide Cheeto bags so that nobody would eat them, so that we
we
could
had to
use them
save
as
some.
props. Yeah, we had to
Yeah,
hide them.
Yes, yes. Nothing goes to waste. Work with what you have, right?
yeah.
Exactly.
So, are you ladies, what do you see as far as the future of independent film in general?
I see
Um,
it having a renaissance personally,
Nice.
because I see with the popularity of AI and just like the idea of like big studios pouring in money for IP and using all of these different methods that consumers really don't want to see. I see them turning more towards indie film and independent filmmaking that's made by real people, written by real people, like full of just grit and determination and everything that like the consumer wants to see. And you can definitely see that with like the rise of like A24, the production company. Um, just how
Wow.
yeah, they've been really killing it lately, and I think that points towards a renaissance of just independent filmmaking.
Is A24, are they truly independent though? Because I know so many companies, they function under a different company and
Yeah.
then it turns out to be Disney still, and you're like, God damn it.
Yeah. They're independent. They're like they started off like really small and they've just grown so much. But yeah, I don't think they're owned by a parent company. I'd have to fact check
Mm-mm.
that, but
They're a large company, a
dang.
large a large indie company. They
Yeah.
used to be
Yeah.
small. They used to
Mm.
have like
Yeah, they did.
little tiny movies, and now it's like,
Hmm.
whoa!
I
Now you're
guess you
having
could
full
say
blown.
they're like a medium. We're getting a middle class in film, guys.
Yeah,
Yeah.
middle class.
It's a good
Thank
thing.
goodness we're getting a middle class somewhere.
Exactly, exactly.
Somewhere. Yeah. No, it's fantastic. If they are definitely not owned by anybody because they don't, but they still, if they do, I wonder if they still have shareholders and people that they have to answer to. Because a lot
Mm,
of times when you're like grassroots, you kind of do the fundraiser, right, for the movie,
Mm.
and you can do whatever the hell you want, but if you have higher ups, you have to kind of maybe tone down the story if they feel it's not going to sell, or it's going to feel it's too much. So sometimes there's a blessing in disguise of, even though you don't have the funding, you also don't have the all the roadblocks that you do with films that might get a nice size budget, because hey, this is not what we do in cinema. So I'm hoping that A24 still has some leniency with, we're not going to block that, let's include that kind of thing, because I think that's very important, and just the independent space to be able to still do things that are a little edgy and stuff. What are you guys hoping for the future, for future endeavors?
With this film or just in general?
With this film, or maybe projects. I know 2026 is fastly approaching. Scary. I don't know. 2025 just kind of
Yeah.
was gone in a blink of an eye, but anything that you're willing to share.
When me and Nadia wrapped, I don't know if I think I said it to Nadia, but because we both had studied film at university before, and this was I think this was both like the biggest project that we took on, in like it was independently, and it did feel just purely like independent filmmaking. It wasn't student filmmaking anymore. So I think we're both pretty excited about where we can take this. We're hoping to be done editing by February, hopefully. And we definitely would want to submit this to a few festivals. That's something that we would want to do, and definitely, yeah, like we would want to do some screenings, see if anyone's really interested in picking it up. I know that there are a few like independent streaming platforms. I think once it's done in its festival run, that's something that we would look into. Yeah.
So I did see that you had it posts the amount that you've collected in Indiegogo. Is that all the money you've needed to make the film, or is there like somebody you had to put your own money in? Or did the school, was there like some grants or something that you were able to take advantage of?
yeah, so that was this film was completely crowdfunded, and we ended up like making it right onto our budget. And then I put in about $1,000 just to like finish and like round out. But yeah, I would say 90% was fully done by crowdfunding. And this
Wow.
was the biggest crowdfunding campaign I'd ever run, Hilda had ever run. It was quite hard. And we also did the campaign like while we were in pre-production,
Yeah.
which added to just like the craziness that was September and October getting this film ready to shoot. But it was very rewarding. We did meet our goal. And like I'm really thankful to anyone who gave to our Indiegogo.
Me
We
too.
definitely did a huge campaign pushing out to like horror fans, indie filmmakers in the Tampa community, and then also just like our friends and families. We went the rich uncle route.
Yeah, we did try to plan quite a bit. Also during the summer, after we'd written it, we knew that we wanted to kind of get ahead with it. That's why we came up with the Nicole Kidman um, ad and Sunray, like which was a local cinema in our area that we were obsessed with. Let us film there, so we got really lucky with that. And we knew that we wanted to try to target a specific audience with the crowdfunding and target cinephiles. And yeah, we were hoping that that's what would reach. Then we also posted on some Reddit threads for Tarantino.
Nice,
Got a lot
nice.
of hate comments on that, but it's
Yeah.
okay.
I love it. I love
That's
it.
funny.
So what were some lessons that you learned during this process that you're going to take with you into future endeavors?
Um,
That's a good
I
question.
think one thing I wouldn't do is film in my own bedroom probably again. I
Yeah.
have a cat, and she was
Aw.
very anxious during the filming, and that was a little chaotic. So I think, or hopefully I'll have a bigger room in the future. But we had to have a skeleton crew in there, and it would get chaotic at times. It was definitely fun transforming my room, and it was cool to see. Um, but yeah, probably I would avoid filming in my room in the future. That's something.
Yeah,
You live, you learn,
Yes.
right?
for real.
And I would like to thank Raven Wisha for the raid. Thank you so much for raiding our channel. That is definitely very much appreciated. So, welcome aboard, guys. We're just chit chatting about the So Glad We Never Met and all the fun stuff that is that endeavor. When did you guys start filming, and when did you guys start the Indiegogo, and how long did all that process take?
So we shot for 3 days, October 17th through the 19th, 2025. Those dates are like burned into my brain forever. But we started our campaign about a month before we shot.
Which was stressful.
Which was very stressful, yeah. Worth it, but very, very stressful, yeah. We did a ton of research, like how to like YouTube search how to make a good
Yeah,
Indiegogo campaign. Like
a lot
I
of Canva
found
time.
lots and lots and lots of time spent on Canva making graphics. I reached out to like several people who had like successful Indiegogo campaigns and was like, how are you doing this? How are you doing this? And a lot of them were gracious enough to respond to my crazy like DMs and gave me some really awesome insight. A lot of people in the independent horror genre, people who are like real independent, not A24 independent. And so I'm really grateful to them as well. And just building out this campaign and sticking to it as well, because I sometimes it felt like man, why are we doing this? Like this every day I have to get up. It's just a grind. Sticking to it together while you're in pre-production. It was hard, but it was very, 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 very worthwhile.
Awesome.
um, I was going to say also just how lucky we were with the crew on the day, because we filmed in 3 days, and I think everyone, they were all such troopers. They ended up being some really long days, and I'm so happy with like so far what I've seen visually. Like our costume team was so amazing. They came like every day, and they were so prepared, and that definitely helped so much with timing, which was against us every single day. And then um, there were definitely some chaotic days with the process because just with things we couldn't control. Like we had some outdoor scenes, and then it started raining. So we had to kind of reorganize everything into the indoor area that we had access to. And we had to ask the people that were filming there, like, oh, is it okay if we actually film indoors for a bit? And then they had people that, because it was like an establishment where people would drink at. So, you know, just some extras in the back, I guess. That's what we had. But
Nice.
yeah, that those were definitely, yeah, just some things that are also burned into my memory.
Awesome. So what equipment did you use, and did you have any issues with equipment and with the rain and things like that as well?
When we were filming the trailer scene at night, it was raining and we had lights, and that was definitely ate up time for us. We wrapped pretty late that day.
Yeah, that rain really killed our vibe on the last day, but we persevered. It rained while we were rapping too, which was
Yeah.
like the sky was crying for us.
And it's such a shame though, because I love the rain and it's so beautiful, but I'll be damned, I haven't been able to capture it in photography as beautiful as I can see it, so I feel your pain.
That's so true.
And then also, our main character, she has a weird hand, where she has to have like kind of like prosthetic stuff in her hand, and just like the weather was not our friend with that. Whether it was humid, whether it was raining, so she had to keep getting that redone. So that was something that was a little bit of a pitfall at points.
And that leads me right into my next question. Special effects. Who did the special effects, and what issues did you come across?
So Violet is a really amazing SFX and makeup artist in the Tampa Bay area. I'm sure she travels. But she was, I worked with her on my previous film. We were in class together, and she's crazy, crazy talented. Like she made Flossie's hand, the main character. She's meant to have some sort of allergic reaction, and I imagined it being pretty gross, but the way that she did it, I was like, okay, this is horror. This is how we're introducing the horror genre, and it was really cool. And yeah, so just having to redo that was definitely where there were some that we didn't really, I think about the time that would take beforehand.
The hand.
Nice.
So when it did, you said when it got humid and wet and stuff, they had to redone. How long did it take to get it redone? Was it the whole
20 minutes?
30
I want to
minutes?
say like 30 minutes, yeah.
Every time? Oh gosh.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
could see how that was.
It
Yeah, there were
adds
like little
up.
like blisters, and the blisters would like fall
Pus.
off.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we would have to
Um,
she would have to reattach the little blisters.
Sometimes the weather is your friend in some shoots because it captures that ambience, and
Yeah.
sometimes it is not your friend at all,
No.
especially when you have prosthetics and stuff to deal with. What was your best memory shooting? I know you said the rain was kind of a damper, but what was your favorite memory of filming?
Mm.
There were definitely some really fun highlights. I think I think setting up my room, like I said, that was really fun. And then just seeing Mary embody the character in my room, because the character's also a vlogger. So just seeing her do those lines in my room was just like, whoa, like it is all coming. I think just seeing it come to life is so fun. Seeing the hand for the first time was also very cool. I would say one of our smoothest shoots was an elevator scene, which everyone was super worried about because we only had 3 hours to do that, and that was one where we only had like that long to do it, and we had to get the doors opening. We had to have her spill a coffee. There were quite a lot of moving parts, but that went super smoothly, and the actors were so great. Matt Winter was Barantino, and that was their first time working together, and they just did so well. And I also really loved one of the scenes at my university where there were some of the most cast mates interacting, and it was so fun. It was so much fun to watch. So yeah, honestly, just seeing the actors do their thing was just amazing. This is also the most actors I've worked with. So yeah, those are quite a lot of highlights.
That's also my favorite memory is seeing the actors just interact with each other on that last day with the rain, when it was just like obviously like the things out of our control were making it harder, but there was like one moment where Hilda like pulled me aside and was like, I want you to see like the blocking and like the actors. And I watched them and it was like the whole stresses of the day were just gone because like it was like watching what me and her had written come to life like truly how we envisioned it was just like it made every bad thing that had ever happened ever in my life worth it because I was like this is brilliant, this is amazing, like Hilda, you
Nice.
this direction is awesome, these actors are great, like oh, I think that's definitely my favorite memory is just seeing it all like fall into place and being like, oh my gosh, we have a movie. It's a real
Right.
movie.
Seeing the fruits of your labor. I love it.
Exactly.
Not just more a rough draft on a piece of paper. Now it's envisioned and coming to fruition. We love that. That seems like it would be a very good energy.
Yeah, it was a really good feeling.
Yeah.
Now
Also,
we've
seeing the USAC coffee, that was another one.
Oh yeah.
oh, what do you mean
Because
the
I
use
was worried.
coffee?
There's this scene where the director that she's obsessed with gives her coffee and it says "you suck" on it, and I was thinking about, like when I wrote it, I didn't think about, oh, this is maybe hard to execute. But then, when we were getting closer to pre-production, we were both thinking, like, how are we going to make this look good? Like, are we going to have a barista on set? Like, how is this going to happen? But we met with they're SFX people.
I'd say they're VFX artists.
VFX,
Yeah,
yes. And they
very
gave
talented
us,
guys.
yeah, really nice guys. Alex and Thomas, they're really, really great. And we met with them and they gave us some ideas about using shaving foam. And then I told that to the costume designers, and one of my best friends, Sophia, she came up with using shaving foam and then cocoa powder to spell like "you suck," and just seeing the Barantino actor Matt and then Flossie with it together was just so funny. Like I didn't think that we were going to be able to do that practically. I thought it was going to have to be something done in the most.
Awesome. So now you know how to put hidden messages to people in their
coffee.
coffees.
With shaving foam.
With shaving cream. Ooh. It's gonna taste awesome. It's gonna taste awesome. So as we get ready to wrap up, we've asked you quite a lot. Is there anything that we missed or that you want to add?
Look out for So Glad We Never Met at your nearest horror festival coming soon.
Ooh, coming soon. Are we still able to donate to any Indiegogo if people are interested?
I don't know, actually.
Yeah,
They might be able to.
Yeah.
We did extend the campaign, but I think we closed the campaign. But they can show
Oh.
their support like through our Instagram. Our Instagram is So Glad We Never Met. They can give us a like or a
We're
comment
gonna be
to show their
posting more
support.
BTS there.
Yeah.
More BTS photos. So you're gonna see. I think there's a photo with the Yusup coffee and the hand.
I think so. Yeah,
Oh.
I think so too.
Nice.
I will try to find I was quickly trying to find the Instagram, but I will link it to you guys later so you guys can go ahead and go and follow and support the cause. Always love to have a different perspective, and it is definitely an interesting one this time around.
And we love to support women in film and specifically women in horror because we know true horrors, all right, guys? You just think,
Yeah.
but we get a little, we get down and dirty, yeah.
Mhm.
I
So glad we
concur.
never met. I would say we get pretty down and dirty.
Oh, we love that here. Yes, our girl does. I love that. Well, thank you so much, Nadia and Hilda, for coming on the show. Next week, we have a returning guest. We are actually going to be meeting back up with Jason Trust. If you guys remember him, he is a actor, director. he was talking to us on the show about a video game he was making, a horror video game. So that came to fruition, and it is now on Steam, ready for us to uncover. I actually got a chance to check it out. And it's very affordable. It's $10 for a whole video game. It kind of plays a little bit like Build Your Own, if you guys ever heard of The Quarry, where it's actors and you have to pick a thing that they go do, and everything is decision based. So are you going to kill the person, or are you not going to kill them? So we're definitely very excited to talk to Jason about the process. He is actually our very first horror video game producer for, or game designer, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, we're definitely very excited to talk to Jason again about his video game and how that's different from movies. So that's gonna happen next Wednesday, heading right into Thanksgiving. So we look forward to seeing you guys then.
And let's show the ladies how we say goodbye here at Delight and Fright. We're big Cthulhu fans, the Elder God, so we get a little tentacle action going.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
This was
Such
so
a
much
pleasure.
Sending Cthulhu farewell on
Bye.
behalf of the crew. See you guys next week. Bye-bye, everybody.
Hello, boils and ghouls. It's your old pal, John Kassir, the voice of the Crypt Keeper. And I want to thank you for listening to Delight and Fright with your hosts, Luna and Cat, a podcast for outcasts.